Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Faith Over Fear podcast for my Mary Kay sisters. Today I want to talk about something every single one of us faces in this business, and that is fear. We have fear of rejection, fear of hearing the word no, and fear of stepping outside of our comfort zone. But here's the truth I want you to remember. When someone says no, they aren't saying no to you. They're saying no to Mary Kay. And most of the time, it doesn't even mean no forever. It simply means no, not now. I remember when I was a customer, my consultant would call me about every 3 months just to check in and ask if I needed anything. Sometimes I needed a product, and sometimes I would say, no, I'm good for now. Sometimes I would say, hang on a minute, because back then we had the phones that still hung on the wall, so I'd have to lay the phone down and run back to the bathroom and check my product just to see if there was anything I was out of or anything I needed. And again, sometimes I needed things, sometimes I didn't. Never did I think I was rejecting her. But, think about this. If she had taken my no as rejection and never called me again, both of our lives would look a whole lot different today. I was actually thrilled when she called. I loved that she checked in on me. At some point, she had to overcome the fear of making that call. And I realize that now, but at the time, I didn't think that. I just thought, oh, this is so nice of her. And on the other hand, she probably was like, oh, gosh, I just hate to hear the word no, and what if she gets tired of me calling her? And absolutely not. So it's helped me along the way to realize, being on the other end of that, some people do really appreciate us reaching out and making those calls and helping them with their needs in Mary Kay. I also remember when she asked me about joining Mary Kay. Goodness, you would have thought it was a proposal of marriage or something. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I know people are now today, and to me it's so simple and just so, this is like so easy, and it's not really that big of a deal, but it can be a really big deal. And I'm living proof of that. And so many other women are as well. And I believe you all are going to, if you haven't already seen that. But really, it was just simply signing up for personal use, because at that time, that is all I wanted to do, was just personal use, because my goodness, thinking about doing more than that really scared me. But I just want to get my product at 50% off and help her become a director. That was one of the things that she had mentioned. So I wanted to do that. I'm so glad she overcame her fear and that I overcame mine too. Let me tell you another story from the beginning of my business. I was told to hand out these little secret Santa papers. Actually, it was just a sheet, and it had list all your products. When I had my first open house, I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was told, hey, you can do this. And I thought, okay, I'll try it. And so I set up some product because I had ordered some extra inventory, and so I set up product. This was after I had initially joined and kind of started getting a little bit more interested in how it all worked. So I thought, well, I'll invite some friends and just see how this goes. They could, on these sheet of paper, they could write down all the Mary Kay products they wanted after they looked around and looked at the books and seen what I had, and then list their secret Santa, so I could call their secret Santa. And they could put more than one if they wanted. Well, in my mind, I thought, nobody's going to fill this out. And honestly, I only had 2 people come to my first Christmas open house, so I didn't really know what I was doing yet. But, I was at least stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit and trying to do a few things. But one of those guests filled out the paper. Oh, my goodness, she handed it to me, and my eyeballs got real big around, like, oh, gosh, she did it. And she wrote down her husband as her secret Santa, which meant one thing. I had to call him. Yikes. I knew if I didn't do it immediately after she left, I'd chicken out. So I picked up the phone and I made the call. And you know what? He was so kind. He said he would purchase everything on her list, and I told him I would wrap it all beautifully for him. And that began a tradition. For years, every Christmas, he would call and say, hi, Kristi. I need her Christmas gifts, please. We would meet up, and he would have all his shopping done and wrapped, and he was all set for Christmas. And the best part, That customer later joined Mary Kay because she loved the product so much. Her very first year, she even achieved quart of sales. I mean, how awesome is that? All because I pushed past fear and made one phone call. I have another story here to tell you today, and I have a boatload of stories throughout 25 plus years, but we'll just take it a few at a time. This one required courage, When my business was starting to grow, I was taught that at every skincare class there's usually one person, and Mary Kay taught us this, there's usually one person who would really be great at doing what we do in Mary Kay. So I was told to ask the group, who do you think would be great at Mary Kay? The first time I did this, one guest had come unexpectedly with a friend. The friend of mine that was hosting the party, it was her mother-in-law, and her mother-in-law had brought her friend with her, and we were like, great, the more the merrier. And when I asked the question about, who did they all think needed Mary Kay would be great at doing what I do, they all pointed to her. And what we realized, by meeting her and talking to her that day was that she had just lost her job and was desperately needing an opportunity. She came in, you guys, with a $1,200 inventory order, and she ended up being one of the 12 team members who helped me to earn my very first Mary Kay career car. All because I overcame the fear of asking the question. Friends, that's why stepping outside of our comfort zone is so powerful. Fear will tell you, don't call, don't ask, don't follow up, don't invite, but courage whispers something different. What if this changes someone's life? Because sometimes that phone call becomes someone's because sometimes that phone call becomes someone's favorite Christmas tradition, you got to do it. Sometimes that question becomes someone's new career and changes their life like it did mine. Sometimes that follow-up becomes someone's first step into a completely different future. And sometimes, just like I said, it changes your life too. So today I want to encourage you, have faith in yourself. Always trust in God and have faith in God, and pray over your business, pray over your goals, your dreams, all the things that you want to achieve. I said it in a speech at a fall retreat one year when I first became a sales director. I was given the honor of being Rookie of the Year and was asked to speak at fall retreat to all of the directors there. Talk about stepping out of your comfort zone. Talk about, wow, that was a biggie, biggie, biggie for me. But that's one of the things that I talked about, was not only, a lot of times I would hear them say, let's take God as your co-pilot. And part of my speech, which I still have that recorded somewhere on a CD or whatever you call that. I know it used to be CDs. I don't know what you called it when they did it that way. That's how old I am. I can't remember. But anyways, what I said in that speech was, I don't want God as my co-pilot. I want him as my pilot. And so have that faith. Take that step outside of your comfort zone. Take that leap of faith and start with just, the little things like asking a question, making a phone call. Just, start with baby steps. It works, I promise you. But have faith in yourself because you can do it. Step out of that comfort zone, make that call, ask the question, extend the invitation. Because on the other side of fear is often a blessing you never saw coming. And I am so glad I didn't let fear stop me. Until next time, stay fearless, keep sharing, and remember, you never know whose life you might change just by being brave enough to ask.